to go?
Sure.
Mic check, 1, 2. Seems okay. Audio levels okay. Check, 1, 2. Seems okay. Audio levels okay. All right. Coolio.
We all good to go?
I think so. Give me one. Yeah.
Great.
Cool.
Cool. Well, hey, thanks everyone for joining us. This is the Mask Mayhem Overwatch tournament, a internal Blizzard employee tournament. Second week of the tournament. My name is Lava, joined here with Gopa Yang or Forest, and I am Liam.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. This is a rivalry of the ages, boys to men versus St. Louis Submissives. These two have faced off many times. You could even say that these two were the originators of this tournament. They were the first rivalry to spring up from these two Discord servers, so tale as old as time. And I'm excited to cast this game with you, man.
Hey, I'm excited too. This is the first one as a duo group of us, the Forest and Liam duo. But I'm real excited to be here. I don't know a ton about both the teams, but look, I will say I know Avernal there, one of our hosts of the tournament, has a really mean ball, really mean wrecking ball. So I'm hoping to see a little bit of
Yeah.
wrecking ball coming out from Boys to Men today. What do you think about that?
Yes, of course. As we can see, a little bit of subliminal messaging coming here from Boys to Men, poo ass
Mm.
coming out, saying, especially with that ball pooping on the St. Louis Submissives. Meanwhile, on
Of
Submissive
course.
side, they are the Golden Boys, so we're gonna see
Mm.
how golden it will be. What do you think about ball on Ilios?
I mean, ball is such a big part of Helios. I mean, as soon as ball came out, everyone realized, hey, look, I can get boops on ball, right? And I mean, there's well you can get boops into, rolling from behind. Sanctum is such a great point for it too, and even Village has its place for ball for contest. I mean, I was just playing ball the other day, and I was able to stall the point out for a good 35 seconds extra, just rolling through and wrecking ball, getting my shields up, and then rolling back out. I mean, there's really no limit to how we can see ball here. Of course, I said Sanctum, thinking Nepal. Nepal's my favorite map in the game, so I'm a little biased. But
Yeah,
well with Ilios and of course Lighthouse. There's so many boops available for
yeah.
Lighthouse. The only way we'll get to see is how we're utilizing flanks, how the ball is getting behind them, and how the ball is utilizing resources. So excited to see that, and it looks like we're running in to Ilios right at first here, and we are starting off on well. This is going to be a really great game, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah. The person who I'm actually going to look out for on the boys to men side is going to be P Symbol. He is
Mm.
notorious for his Roadhog, almost 700 hours. So we're going to be looking definitely from his point of view a couple of times this map to see if they do have some environmental kills.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely the player to watch right now. And it's in interesting comps that we're seeing coming out right now. What do you think about this no shield tanks coming out?
Yeah.
We were talking before, kind of the meta right now, but what do you think about that?
Yes. Now that shield tanks are nerfs and Roadhog is buffed, it's going to be really scary. And usually I say whichever team has the better Roadhog wins, and we see P
Mm.
symbol here with a Roadhog Zarya combo against an outdated Orisa Roadhog combo on the St. Louis Submissive side.
Wow, this is exciting. Yeah, we get to see some real main tank play from coming out from the Jax on Orisa right now, and it looks like they have the Zenyatta as well. And we're going to be seeing how that they utilize that. Looks like we have the Echo here as well, doing some scouting, doing some early shots right here. Soldier with the attempted Helix strike, but missing. And then we have the Echo coming in from the other side. Doctor Feels Good and Doctor Feels Bad, and it looks like they're taking this position on the outside of the point. They're looking for poke right now, but not really finding anything. Looking for the hook. And Roadhog goes really low right now. They put the shield down, but it of course gets immediately broken because there's really no space for that
Yeah.
with the damage that these tanks can put out.
Oh.
Oh, a really early hook, but a
Oh.
reverse hook with Soldier finding the Roadhog. That's a
Yes.
really big opening
Yeah,
kill.
P symbol with a nasty hook to be able to take out the Roadhog, and once the Roadhog has fallen, they are able to capture the point easily.
Oh, and then there's cleanup here. Dr. Feelbad finds two with the echo ability there. That's a really deadly ability, especially when you get below 50%. And now it's just cleanup and a little bit of staggers right now. And we're gonna find some really late kills in the Ana and the McCree. This is a really clean opening fight by Boys to Men. What do you think about that so far?
Yes, they're already a quarter away to winning this map, and they have taken a very forward position on this point with great point control. I think they are in a commanding position. P Symbol now is hovering around the backside, see if he could get some environmental kills.
Oh, and the hook comes out early right here, but we find Scarecrow finds P Symbol right off the bat, but Boys to Men responds with 2 with a Helix Rocket and the kill, and they decide to echo the Orisa here, and they're I think are looking for trying to put some anchor down so they can't push in, and they get the early bongo here. Hook is invested again, but it looks like the control really stays in the hands of Boys to Men. They really don't commit very many ultimates to that either. They only use the Echo ult, and if you look at the economies right now, it's really looking like Boys to Men has the advantage.
I will say that was a really good respect from St. Louis Submissives in the beginning to make sure that P Symbol's Roadhog does get bursted down. Oh, but P Symbol's Roadhog does find a pick, and there goes the Roadhog whole hog. Might be able to get 2, and a double boop from a whole hog for P Symbol.
And he finds, using the Echo ult as well, finds that. And that's a really clean ultimate. Oh, but they respond back with a kill onto the Echo, and maybe they're able to push back onto this point, but someone's got to get there fast. The Orisa looks like she's about to touch, but is feeling maybe a little bit maybe scared of it right now. Has to use the Fortify really early to get up there. Takes the position on the point. The rest of the team is back here. The grab is committed, as well as the... Oh man,
Good
this is a Q fight. This is a transcendence to counteract many of the abilities from the side of Boys to Men, and you know, if they can sustain through this, Boys to Men is looking pretty good. But as I say that, St. Louis Submissive answers back with the Echo kill on the Ana, and that's gonna get rid of most of their healing. They commit the bongo to this fight, hoping to get the cleanup kills, and it looks like they're gonna get the flip over.
They finally get the flip over. Ajaxon is really feeling the Orisa halt nerfs right now. He could have gotten a halt earlier on P Symbol, but that massive halt nerf really hurts.
Yeah, you tell me about it. As a main tank player, I get it. But they're going to have to really struggle with this. They use most of their ultimates, and I'm curious to see how they're going to push back, especially with this nano online from the St. Louis Submissive. You know, I want to see how Boys to Men answers this. Maybe, you know, they take a poke battle and go. And and just as I say that, they find the kill on the Tracer. That's a really big pick, really big DPS pick to start off on. But they commit the nano boost onto the Roadhog from Scarecrow, and it looks like he gets the kill on the Moira. While on the side over here, we see the McCree Echo coming out with a high noon. They get the ult so quickly. Oh, and he gets slept out of it!
Yeah, Dr. Feelbad is now no longer echoed McCree, as he gets slept out of it, and he is going to try to take a... Oh, P Symbol almost gets another hook, but he does get taken out by Squareball's Discord.
Oh, that's a really, really good pick on that. The Roadhog is such an important part of this composition. It's just as I say that, the Roadhog's been res from P Symbol, looking to get back in there. Oh, and immediately gets taken down again. That's really good target focus from Boys to Men, from St. Louis Submissives. I'm really impressed by how they really quickly took him out.
Really got to give a shout out here to Squareball's Zenyatta. His Discords has been on point this entire game.
Oh, and Kenny on the flank on the side goes down really early. This is going to be a 6v5, and we have ults coming online for both teams here. I would be surprised if we didn't see another big ultimate fight right here. The Echo for Dr. Feelbad goes down, but is res by the Mercy, where the Orisa now is just poking, has to use her Fortify early, and it looks like the Roadhog's taking a flank with the Soldier on the side. Attack Visor is is initiated, but then the High Noon tries to respond. Now we have a really big Transcendence coming out to counteract a lot of this damage. It's 99 to 99. Kenny finds a pick on a P Symbol. That's really big.
Yes. Now Scarecrow is now pumping out damage. Zeblet does find a counter kill onto a real Rasputin.
Oh, and then the big hook onto a Vernal. That's a really, really big pick. The Echo gets res, but is it enough to win the fight? Overtime ticks down, and it looks like St. Louis Submissives inexplicably pull it back from 99 to 0.
I am very shocked. Ilios has been the Boys to Men's most iconic map. The fact that they lost that well is super feels bad for them. Their morale might be pretty shaken up after that, but hopefully they can regroup and reset for this map.
Yeah, and I think one of the problems we're seeing is that, when they were trying to re-engage Boys to Men, maybe it looked a little one-dimensional. They were all coming out of one side of the point, and they were, staggering a little bit, looking for, I think, cheeky sort of hook kills, but that wasn't working so well. Here we see a really interesting comp coming out from Boys to Men, where they're running the Reinhardt Diva comp with a Sombra and an Ashe. This is a really interesting comp, especially to go up against the double shield from St. Louis Submissives.
Yeah, I have not seen Diva played in a while, but I know Avenel has been practicing her Diva recently, so hopefully she might be able to find some success here.
Boys to Men taking a really early position on the point. The Diva gets walled off. Oh, Diva's out of mech. That's a really big,
That's a massive
important first
purple.
kill there. Oh, but a massive purple responds. Can they do anything to capitalize on it? Doesn't look like it. However, Boys to Men looks like they take an early hold of this point where the sleep comes out in the May, and Sigma finds the Moira on the other side. Oh, and look at that. Just at that, the Ashes respawn kills on each other team, and we see Boys to Men starting to clean up this fight.
Yes. Great position, even though they... oh, P symbol goes in for the charge.
Oh, that's a really close charge there. What do you think of that? Why they had the early pick on the Diva mech? Why do you think they lost that fight? Was it the anti-nade?
I think that there was a combination of the anti-nade and just they weren't able to break out of that. The submissives weren't able to break out of that position.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they got in there. They had to commit the immortality really early. Now we see the immortality go down, and then the fight is anyone's game at that point. Now we do see the window online here for Square Ball on the side of St. Louis Submissives. We'll see how they engage with this. Looks like the Tracer from St. Louis Submissives is trying to flank around, do a little bit of harassment in the back line, and the Dynamite finds a couple of hits here, and that's going to go up. Now Scarecrow gets hacked. They have to commit the immortality field very early here, and we see a sleep come on to P symbol, but he's starting to back up, and he gets started to get an early charge. We see a Bob come out from Dr. Feelbad, and a Coalescence committed to try to sustain the team, and it looks like they're trying to use that a little aggressively, but the tanks are a little afraid to go in at this point.
There might be an EOP Shatter coming.
That's absolutely right. We see the EMP about to be committed, and it looks like the health pack has been hacked on the backside, but, I think at the start of the next fight, we'll see the EMP shatter.
Yeah.
Oh, just as we say that, Scarecrow gets hacked, and we see the EMP come out, as well as the bomb and the shatter. A Nano was committed as well from the side of Boys to Men, and however, they respond back with 3 kills. The Ashe, both healers on the side of Boys to Men go down. Oh, and Candy finds another pick on the Reinhardt. This is a winnable fight.
Candy coming up clutch for the St. Louis Submissives right now. Great stagger onto Diva, but they unfortunately didn't cap quick enough before Boys to Men hit 99. This is going to be one fight territory for the Boys to Men currently.
They have to play nearly perfectly, and I'm surprised with how Boys to Men committed nearly every one of their ultimates and didn't win that fight. And now we see the Graviton Surge coming in from the St. Louis Submissives, where they have the Nano Boost and the Reinhardt Shatter. I don't want them all to hit Q at the same time, but we'll see how they respond to this. Looks like they're taking a little bit of poke, and Kenny is trying to find some harassment in the backline again. And it looks like we're seeing the Somber going to the backline, trying to get some early picks or early help. But Kenny finds Moira very early from Ellis Rising. That is.
Diva comes on a flank, but she's purpled and low, and she needs to get out, and that should be a little bit of a reset for the Boys to Men.
And this is really smart. They're keeping the Diva out of mech. They're not getting the kill on it. That's just going to be a longer fight, and now a longer time before they're able to re-engage. It looks like they're unsure about how to do this. They may also just be engaging in the poke battle right now, where they're just trying to find their ultimates, and then they have the Coalescence online with the tack visor. It looks like they might be trying to go for the Nano visor combination coming up. However, they can respond with the Graviton Surge, which they do early. If they can find this pick in the Reinhardt, this will be a disastrous fight. However, they find the tack visor. Oh, and the Shatter finds several. But just as I say that, the St. Louis Submissives, they're dying all on point.
Yeah.
They lost big to the tack visor.
Yeah, Dr. Feelbad's attack visor got massive value for that. They need to touch. Dr. Feelbad is posing right now, emoting, and that's is map number 2 going to the way of the Boys to Men.
Yeah, that's a really tough tough loss, or it would have been a really tough loss for Boys to Men if they lost there. I mean, they had the ultimate advantage, and it's really unfortunate that we see St. Louis there. They had the ult advantage going into the final couple fights, but the flank on the soldier was just too effective, and they didn't even need the nano. The soldier just got behind them and was able to get 2 or 3 kills. That's really tough. So you know. I'm liking what both of these teams are doing right now. I think they're playing decently, and I think we're having a really great match so far.
Yeah. We see a few switch ups for St. Louis Submissives now. Scarecrow now on Winston, and the Bear Code now on Lucio, off of her usual Ana. So I'm interested to see what this shakeup will do for the Submissives.
This is going to be really interesting. This style of the Winston Zarya was kind of very effective against double shield and has been less effective against the 2 off tank meta we're seeing right now. But we'll see how they engage this. Decide to stick on the D.Va here, which is going to be interesting too, to try to affect the high ground. Candy's trying to get some early poke in the backline here, where now Reinhardt's alone in the front line. He gets stunned early, and it looks like he's able to get out. But that was very close to disastrous for Boys to Men.
Yeah. Now St. Louis will cap the point first and will establish position.
Yeah, they're taking the really early percentage here. Is really important for these control maps. P Symbol finds Lucio, where Scarecrow responds back with the Ana kill. 1 healer down for either team. We'll see which one is more important in the long run. We see the bubble drop down point for the Winston, diving in and out, pushing in and out of the bubble and taking flank angles. It looks like Boys to Men is deciding to back out, but Moira gets caught out late, as well as the D.Va.
Yeah.
Now Ashe goes down, and this is really disastrous for Boys to Men.
Avernol is not going to be able to get her mech back for a while. She's 50% there, but she's still got to find a few more shots before she could get that mech back.
I would just jump off the map at this point. I mean, either that or sacrifice your ult charge, go back in a point. But as I say that, she gets her mech back, and that's going to be really important. That was smart of them to leave D.Va out of mech there, so they couldn't engage. Reinhardt's pushed up a little bit alone right now with the Sombra on the point, but now it looks like the team's regrouping. Winston's looking for backline picks here from Scarecrow.
Ooh,
Winston, and they're going to find them.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Nice kill from Canny. P Symbol does have Shatter now.
Canny. And they commit, and St. Louis Submissives commit the Deadeye in this fight too to further sustain, as well as the Coalescence. And this was, not too much of a commitment from them. They only had to use 2 ults, which they can generally get pretty quick. Scarecrow now has his Primal Rage online, and we can see that to see them stall. I mean, even if Boys to Men is able to touch at this point, St. Louis Submissive still has the ults to be able to maintain this at to 99 pretty easily.
That was really good ult economy usage from the St. Louis Submissives, and I think with Scarecrow's Primal, they should be able to stall out point. Avernol almost has bomb, but I don't know if that's going to be enough to cap the point. She needs to land a perfect bomb for them to win this.
And right now, it looks like both tanks have been caught in the Graviton Surge, but just as we say that, the Barricade finds Dr. Feelbad here. Avernal finds 1 on the Zarya, but then the response back from the Primal Rage, and then Kenny finds 2 with the Pulse Bomb.
Nice Pulse Bomb from Kenny. Now Avernal and Lucio are the only 2 left on point.
It looks like just cleanup at this point. Lucio's just trying to get the extra percentage stalled out for the team to come back. Hopefully someone can go back in the Wrecking Ball right now. But no, it's not going to work. No one's going to be able to make it, except Dr. Feelbad, who immediately goes down. And this is a 1 game. Amazing job.
Great. Canny is cracked on Tracer right now. He's really feeling himself. And I think I would have really loved to see Avernal Ball on Lighthouse more that second game. Oh, here we are for the Canny's play of the game as Tracer. This is probably the 2K Pulse Bomb earlier.
Oh yeah, this was a really great fight here, because he finds 2 really big picks with that, and I'm really impressed by how Canny was able to harass the backline, the way that they used their Winston and their Tracer to get on the Ashe to start some of the fights. I mean, it seemed like they were just playing the St. Louis Submissives at the end of the day. Were just playing, in my opinion, a much quicker game and a much more effective initiator game. They were forcing Boys to Men to come into each fight 1 person down. Like, how are you going to win those fights when it's a 5v6 every single time? And then once your Reinhardt and D.Va push in, the Winston's jumping on your backline, and now you're down 2 or 3 more people. I mean, that was just some textbook backline harassment from the St. Louis Submissives. Very impressed.
Yeah, I think for this next game, whatever the second map is, I would like to see an answer. Boys to Men would really need to find an answer for Canny's Tracer. Now that Canny's have built up a little bit of confidence on that Tracer, I don't think he's gonna stop until until like he gets like full countered by Boys to Men.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. And it seemed like we had the Echo pick right early on from Canny, and Canny I think swapped to the Tracer to get just back to point quicker. And at first we were seeing Canny go down really early in the fight, but luckily with Tracer you can blink back quicker. But I think as you just said, once the confidence started to build a little bit more, able to get right back on a point and able to get back into the back line, and I think that was really good play. And I think I want to shout out to Scarecrow as well. I think that the tank play from Scarecrow has been really, really phenomenal
Yeah.
so far. And I'm of course a tank man, so I'm biased, but I'm really impressed.
Yeah, me too. Scarecrow is usually just a Reinhardt player, and but over the past few months, he's really developed himself to be a bit more flexible in his tank role. He's got a few great Roadhog hooks on well, and then I was very impressed with his Winston play on Lighthouse too. Being able to just harass the Lucio, making sure the Sombra needed to TP out before she could get any value with her hacks. So
Mhm.
I would say the biggest X factor for me that game was actually Scarecrow. Even though Canny got the highlights, but Scarecrow really shined in the tank duel. Really stepped up in the tank matchup.
Yeah, I agree. And while I thought P Symbol was doing very well in the Roadhog as well, when they were forced off of maybe the what they were more comfortable with, and they had to go to the Rhine Diva, which as we both had sort of said, we haven't really seen Rhine Diva as the predominant meta for a long time. When they were forced over to that, and then they played the Zarya Winston, which is a little bit more effective right now. I think we saw Boysteman really struggle, and I think you're right. I think if they had played maybe even Ball and Hog, right? Because P Symbol is
Hmm.
such a proficient Hog, and we see Vernal playing the wrecking ball, getting in their back line, harassing people, booping people around, and at the same time, P Symbol coming in as the Roadhog and throwing hooks and putting pressure on the front line. I mean, I think they would be feeling quite a bit better. So really great job from St. Louis Submissives, especially in the first round to pull it back from 99 to
Yeah.
0.
In the current meta, like after all the changes, how do you think Diva should be played in the current state of the game?
Yeah, Diva's tough right now because both tank options, the Roadhog and the Zarya, kind of both counter Diva, right? With the hooks, and also you can't defense matrix beams.
Hmm.
So Diva's really kind of a bit more ineffective now than I think she has been in previous metas, and so it's tough for me to say, well, this is how you should play Diva right now. I think that the meta is a little new right now, and I think everyone's a little unclear.
Yeah.
I think once we see some Overwatch League and some of the pros play, we'll start to understand. But I don't think we'll see Diva meta until um, defense matrix cooldown goes a little bit further down in terms of when it comes online and maybe is more effective,
Yeah.
and then also when the boosters go back down to 3 seconds or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, now that Hog has become like everyone's golden boy tank, what before I know like Orisa Hog was like going to be like the most common like tank duo, but which tank complements Roadhog the best these days, do you think?
At the moment, I mean, Arisa has her place with her health and halt nerfs, right? It's a lot harder to get the pull hook combos,
Mhm.
and so right now I've seen both Reinhardt. Roadhog, if you desperately need a shield tank, and I've also seen mostly Zarya Roadhog and ladder. Um, I think we'll see a lot of Zarya Roadhog for right now because people love playing off tanks, and it's a lot of fun to play an off tank, and Zarya has to be played a lot differently now though too, where when you're playing with a Reinhardt or Zarya, you can sort of use your bubbles just as a means to get energy and then do a ton of damage. Where now you kind of have to use your bubble management way better than before because you have to make sure you're bubbling targets that get hooked by the enemy Roadhog. You have to make sure you're mitigating the right kind of damage and then jumping behind cover when you need because you don't have that Reinhardt shield anymore. So I think Zarya is a very smart pick with the Roadhog, but it does change the behavior of how Zarya players would have to play right now. So I would say if you desperately needed a shield, you would probably want to play the Reinhardt right now because he has the most shields, and for everything, if his shields go down fast, that's one thing. But hopefully you're able to help your team engage or take some space. If you're trying to utilize his shield before he
Yeah.
dies.
I'm also really excited to see like Zenyatta back in play too. I remember for like the almost in majority of like the past year, ever since like Goats died, um, like if I see like a Zenyatta on my team, like I at least in like ranked games and stuff like that, comp games, I immediately assumed that like I was gonna lose that fight just because it's so sad that like you can win 3 team fights and a Brig will still farm her ult faster than Zenyatta farms Transcendence. But
It's
now
true.
now that like the shields are gone and his orbs are like starting to hit shots more, and he'll be able to farm that Transcendence faster. It's great to see him being so effective, especially now that Roadhog is meta. Those like as we've seen from last game, Square Balls
Discord orbs,
Discord
yeah.
orbs was finding massive value.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, he's such a low mobility, not stationary, but pretty easily diveable target, and he doesn't get back to the fight fast, and he doesn't have a ton of HP, so it makes him a pretty squishy target. And when he's dead, he's not in the fight, and he can't actually contribute. So it's difficult to play Zenyatta, but now we're seeing how important that Zenyatta is with the Discord orb. So we're moving over to Route 66 here. It looks like we're having a Rhine Zarya mirror matchup. This is pretty exciting, and we get to see the Pharah come out from
Yeah.
Boys to Men. It looks
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, Boys to Men, pharmacy combo coming out, kind of just beckoning to see, just to challenge, to see how St. Louis Submissives and their hit scan play. So real Rasputins, the burden of execution is going to be on him to figure out a way to stop that Pharah.
And they're holding really, really close here right now. It looks like Bubbles committed early as well as the Immortality. Immortality goes down, and there's a brawl happening right here. But man, those are some really bad early picks for the side of St. Louis. And these are great picks if you're Boys to Men. They find everything they need. This soldier from Zebla coming out, really, really reining in that damage in the middle of the brawl.
Great
Really
awareness
clean
from
fight.
Zebla on the soldier. She was able to sniff out the Sombra and manage to kill her really quick. So that was 3 easy kills for Zebla on the soldier.
Really, really smart play to just to get in there and help the team with the Helix rocket and just help with that brawl. We don't see you soldier in a lot of brawl comps, but okay, and we're coming back out. The fight is initiating a high ground. Real Rasputin finds Pharah really, really early, and this is a really high ground position she's taking. And Real Rasputin is just laying in the crossfire from up above, and they don't really have an answer right now except for Zebla and the soldier. But Zebla has to drop around the corner and wait for something. Now it's looking like Boys to Men have to back around the corner. It was really smart for them to hold up so close so that they could re-engage this fight. But
Ooh, that's a massive dynamite from
that
a
is
Real
a massive
Rasputin.
dynamite.
80% to Bob for Real Rasputin now.
And we see Immortality committed very early in the back line from the side of St. Louis Submissives, and we'll see if that comes to bite them. And the Shatter finds three! The Shatter finds 3, and we see the charge kill coming out from Scarecrow. We see the switch over onto the Widow, and just laying in pressure from the backline right here, probably trying to find the answer for this Ashe from Real Rasputin. If Real Rasputin can get this Bob online quick enough and use it on point, maybe they can hold. But just as I say that, Boys to Men find the kills they need to probably cap this point. Now, this Echo from Canny is maybe going to get staggered out here, and here it is. And Scarecrow is now going to get staggered out as well, and this is going to be a clean-up play from Boys to Men.
Dr. Feelbad's switch from Pharah to Widow has proved really, really useful. Managed to find some key picks during the last push-in, but much credit to P Symbol's Reinhardt and Avernoll with the massively increased gameplay, being able to support the rest of the team and keeping the front line alive.
Yeah, I agree. And what do you think about that switch though onto the Widowmaker? Do you think they have enough damage to deal with the Graviton Surge now when Avernal and the Zarya throws the Graviton Surge?
Yeah. I hope Dr. Feelbad can, if he would really like to sniff out the Real Rasputin right now. But Real Rasputin now has Bob online.
Oh, and Real Rasputin finds Zebla in the backline here, taking this really, really nice position. Throws Bob into the backline. There's a countercharge coming here from P Symbol, but is it going to be enough to stop the Bob? They have to back off at this fight right here.
Yeah. They're backing off right now. Boys to Men trying to save up ults for the next push-in. There's 5 ults coming on, almost 6 ults for Boys to Men, so they're looking to commit that in the next team fight.
And Dr. Feelbad using his sights really early. This will give them a really nice idea of where they're positioned up so that they can try to use their ults. I'm looking for a Graviton Surge with the Reinhardt, swinging into it right here. I think that's the win condition. Dr. Feelbad fights Canny on the Echo. That's a really, really nice pick there, especially with the duplicate online. And dueling grabs are coming out where the immortality is there for St. Louis Submissives. Oh, and the shatter is blocked by Timberwolf. And he counter shatters, and he finds 3 in the counter shatter. And they use the tactical visor. Zebla finds several with the tactical visor, and they push in, and that's going to be a really, really nice team fight win. Now, a lot of ultimates were used by the side of Boys to Men, but they pretty convincingly win that fight.
Yeah, I wish the play of the game can calculate counter shatters as a block shatter as part of their algorithm, because that Reinhardt duel was so big brained. Great job from P Symbol there on the Reinhardt duel.
Really nice. Oh, and we see the Echo coming out here from the and immediately taken down. The immortality is committed early, and now they have no choice but to brawl and point. A window comes out from the Baptiste. The Firestrike mixed through, but we see the beat coming out from Ellis Rising here to try to sustain the team, and P Symbol finds one on the Ashe, who was inexplicably in the team in the brawl. Oh, the shatter is blocked by Scarecrow. That's a really good proc. And then P Symbol tries to charge in, but miscalculates and gets killed really early on. Without a main tank, this is going to be very hard to push in, and I think we're going to see St. Louis Submissives take the position here on the point, be able to hold.
150 remaining for the Boys to Men to finish this push. But Zebla almost has Visor, so we're going to be looking for her to get some massive pick-offs. Hopefully she can get a pick-off on the Bearcoats Mercy, who has been doing a really good job of staying alive.
As we see the Echo going to be coming online as well soon. I wonder who Canny is looking to duplicate here. Maybe the Reinhardt again, maybe double Reinhardt coming into their face, but looks like the Boys to Men are taking their time, and now they're finally starting to engage, and both bubbles are out right here. Immortality is early. Dr. Feelbad finds Real Rasputin, but Canny responds back with the kill on Dr. Feelbad. Real Rasputin is rezzed, and we see the Echo coming out from Canny onto the Soldier. Oh,
nice visor from Zeb.
Finding one where the res comes out of Dr. Feelbad. We're finding two shatter stuns from the Reinhardt from Scarecrow, but it isn't going to be enough to finish the fight. The Lucio goes down, and a charge comes out from Dr. Feelbad, but Dr. Feelbad immediately gets taken out of the Echo there, and another immortality used, looking to brawl on the point.
Yeah, nice ammo field and nice heals from the support line of St. Louis Submissives. Shatter comes out.
And a really aggressive shatter from P Symbol. Finding the Zarya, but not getting the kill. P Symbol goes down for that aggression.
Yeah.
Oh, Scarecrow finds another one on the Mercy. Ajaxon is cleaning up here as well. This is another one fight for St. Louis Submissives. I mean, how does Boys to Men re-engage this and win this fight?
Boys to Men, we see the switch from Avenal onto Ball. They do have beat, so their beat should be able to win the fight, but they need to move fast. They only have 10 seconds remaining left to cap this point.
The ult economy is looking a lot better for St. Louis Submissives right now, with the Graviton Surge coming up fairly soon, as well as the window. Oh, but just as I say that, Baptiste goes down, but Canny responds back with a kill on Dr. Feelbad. This is anyone's game at this point with one healer down. P Symbol finds the Mercy, and that's a disastrous pick. Canny finds Zebla and the Soldier, where the Reinhardt P Symbol takes another really aggressive charge into the backline, and it ends up working out for them.
Yeah.
They have to commit both of the support ults in that fight, but it's looking like Boys to Men wins this fight.
Yeah, Safe Haven with a great res onto Soldier 76 right after he dies. Zebla wasn't able to get value from Ellis Rising's beat, but Safe Haven makes sure that Soldier 76 was res so that he can stay in the fight.
And now the ult economy is firmly in the hands of St. Louis Submissives, where we see most of the majority ultimates coming online too. We can see the Graviton Surge here. I would like to see a Graviton, maybe Echo Reinhardt, 2 Reinhardts swinging into the Graviton. I think that would be a really effective one. But now it looks like both teams are poking. The Graviton's committed very early from Ajaxon, and we're seeing not enough damage coming up from the side of St. Louis Submissives to be able to take advantage of that. Kenny decides to echo the Lucio, maybe trying to find a really early beat. Bob is committed, but immediately goes down. Almost 30 seconds left on the board, and I think we're gonna see dueling shatters fairly soon. We see
Oh,
the
the
B
beat
try to
doesn't
come through, but the
success.
Echo does not come through with it. We see the Tac Visor come out from Zeblin, finding Kenny. That's a big pick. Now they're able to push in on that.
Scarecrow
Oh,
with
and
the
the
shatter
shatter
comes out.
blocked by Peace Symbol and reverse shatter blocked by Scarecrow. Immortality is down now, and now they have to contend with the beat coming up from Ellis Rising, and the Valk is going to be online for both teams. We see the window committed from St. Louis Submissives right now. Now there's a poke battle. However, they respond with beat and a tire from Dr. Feels Bad. We'll see how this works, and it finds both tanks.
That
That's such a
great
big
tire
pick.
from Dr. Feelbad as the Boys to Men are pushing on to the final point.
Valkyrie is committed. It's healing up most of the team. Where the immortality is there. Now they just have to sustain until their tanks can come back out. That was such a big pick from the Junkrat here. Oh, Squareball goes down to Ellis Rising, and the countercharge coming out from Peace and the Scarecrow, but not looking like it's going to be enough. However, the Graviton Surge finds 4. Oh, and we see
Wow!
a oh my goodness! We just saw that was the oh my goodness! Canny coming up with the heroics at the last second.
Oh
I
my
cannot believe
gosh.
that.
That was a 5-man tire at the end?
5-man tire, the Mercy Lift. That was an enormous tire to save the team from a full cap there. That is a massive hero play right there from coming out from Canny. I'm very impressed.
Yeah. What do you think about Junkrat on this point C here? It's both teams decided to switch to Junkrat at on the final point.
Well, I believe it was Kenny echoing onto the Junkrat. But that's an interesting echo, right? Where the first Junkrat pick, I was a little surprised about because Junkrat can be really effective in these brawl situations. You just don't see him as meta recently as maybe you normally would, right? I mean, he's really meta at points that are inside, and I guess point 3 is inside, but not it's an outside of the box pick that I wouldn't have thought of or expected, but ended up paying dividends for the wrong team, surprisingly. At first, finding the two kills for the Junkrat there on both tanks. I mean, that was a really nice engage there, and
You you were supposed to be the chosen one. You were supposed to tire them, not get us tired.
right, not good. I mean, but you got to give credit there where Jackson, finds the 4 or 5-man Graviton Surge to put them all together and then breaking the Rhine Shield. I mean, great stuff coming out there. Now we're seeing another really close hold here. I'll be curious to see how this ends up. A really brawl comp. Looks like the tanks are really split right now though. Where Zebla finds 1 on the bear code for the Mercy, the card is actually making progress behind them. I don't know if they realize that that's happening right now, but they got to get back to the cart. Real Rasputin finds Dr. Feelbad, and really what I think that's a cause of just getting split right there. Both tanks decided to go on different targets, and that has been disastrous for them. Now St. Louis Submissives really cleaning up on that.
Yeah. I've never seen Zebla play Tracer before, so this is really interesting seeing her play Tracer. She tries to look at spawn and realizes no one is there. Is now back on cart, contesting the cap. She gets discovered
Nice
out.
Hey, look, a couple seconds stall. Maybe it gives the team time to go back in, but Real Rasputin finds Dr. Feelbad first to start the fight. This is going to be really good for St. Louis Submissives as long as they can punish the 6v5 advantage. Oh, and a really big dynamite onto the Ana forces her to use the grenade in the back line, and they have to back up a little bit to support that. The Bob coming out right here to help put pressure on the team from another angle, where Tracer, in the back line here trying to harass, but it's not doing much at this point, and they got to get in the point very soon, or else they're going to get capped right here, and it's looking like. Oh, and a really big hit from the Scarecrow. That's a shatter down there. The res coming out onto Canny, and now it's an advantage for the St. Louis Submissives, hopefully. But and Peace Symbol shattering, but getting it blocked by Scarecrow, and the tower coming out, finding both healers for the side of the Boys to Men. Charge comes in really aggressively, but St. Louis Submissives really cleaning up this fight, I think, fairly convincingly.
Yeah, once again, Canny's Junkrat was just doing massive damage. He somehow, just like a rat in real life, manages to scurry underneath everyone's radars. No one seems to be able to find him, and his nades just like pop him almost at point blank range.
Now, it's looking like St. Louis Submissives here are going to have the ult advantage coming into to this next point. which is not great for the side of Boys to Men because they're looking to try to defend this point right here. They have the nano boost. Maybe they commit that into the Reinhardt. Maybe he can get a shatter really quick in the brawl. Maybe get a really early shatter. But that's the only win condition I can see right here because as long as they commit window and a fire strike, just like that, then I think they're not going to be able to push that.
Yeah.
However, Dr. Feelbad on the angle finds Canny, but Ajaxon finds Dr. Feelbad in the backline. Canny gets rezzed on the Mercy, and now it's a 6v5 fight in the hands of the St. Louis Submissives. Yeah. Ash, the real Rasputin, goes down from Zeble. That's a really nice pick. And Zarya looking behind here to try
Avenel
to
with the flanking
damage.
Zarya. She's caught between a rock and a hard place. Will she be able to make it out? Yes, she does.
And it's looking like Scarecrow's going to have his Shadow online soon. Oh, but the Graviton Surge! It finds enough picks to win this fight right here. Lucio goes down, and this is another cleanup. Ash on point, just trying to get a little bit of stall, but frankly, it's not enough. Zarya, looking for the kill on the Zeble here, but it's coming in late, which is a really late stagger. But St. Louis Submissives in all kinds of control with going in almost over 4.5 minutes on the board, coming into point 3 here.
Real Rasputin has been farming this Bob like a madman, getting so much value from her dynamites. She almost has Bob again for this final fight, and I don't know what the BOIS can do to stop it at this point.
It's going to be a really tough fight here because we have dueling Bobs coming out, but we also saw the Tire attempted. I don't think the Tire got anybody. Oh my goodness, Scarecrows finds one in the P symbol, but they respond back with the nano boost for P symbol. A Shatter's going to be coming out here in a second. Oh, but the Graviton Surge finds 3 and then a huge anti-kill. That's going to be enough. They don't have to commit any more ultimates to this. That was a really nice fight from Boys to Men. A really nice grab and nano boost onto the Reinhardt to clean up, as well as Safe Haven hitting a massive anti-grenade.
Yeah, that nano onto P symbol saved the front line. So great awareness from Safe Haven, realizing the flow of the fight to save P symbol there with the nano.
Really smart engagement. I mean, that was such a clutch nano, and now we see the Shatter and the Tac Visor online right now from the side of Boys to Men, and it's looking like a winnable fight for them as long as they cycle these ultimates correctly, and hopefully they can find a big Shatter. Jackson going very dangerously low. Oh, but Real Rasputin finds Safe Haven in the backline where Dr. Feelbad now on the Torbjorn responds back with the kill on Real Rasputin, which is immediately rezzed by the Bear Code. This is this is the story of this game so far. Every kill has been rezzed, and we keep seeing that. Now Scarecrow putting the pressure on the front line here, and we need to see some life right now from Boys to Men. They have to give up so much space, and they don't have much to give up.
They currently do have a bit of high ground control. Zeb is dueling the Ash. Gets the Mercy.
And Zebla finds the Mercy as well as finding Rasputin as well. This is a really nice Tac Visor there. They didn't have to commit too many ults from that. P symbol barrier goes down, but it's not going to matter at this point because they are fully in control of that fight. Now they've shaved nearly 2 minutes off the board, 2.5 minutes on the board right now, with impactful ultimates though coming up from St. Louis Submissives. That the Graviton Surge, the Shatter, and we'll see if Candy can come in with some real heroics again on the Tire.
This is great. High ground control. Like whoever establishes high ground control on this point C, will win this fight. Last game, Zebla was able to get bailed out by the Visor, but we'll see if she's able to do it again.
Oh, Reinhardt. Oh, man. P symbol finding 2 in the Shatter, but the immortality and the inability to push in really made the Shatter kind of useless. Now it looks like St. Louis Submissives are backing out and waiting for their resources to come back online before they're re-engaging. This is a really smart idea here, especially with how much time is left on the board. However, we see the Grav ready for both sides, and I think we're going to see a really big, heavy ultimate fight right here. Yeah. I think we'll see the early grab from Ed Jackson coming out pretty soon. Oh, and that's a grab from Avernal. And also onto P symbol with the Bob being committed, as well as Candy finding 2 with the Tire again. Yeah. The Shatter coming out, finding Dr. Feelbad onto the Torbjorn, but the Torbjorn gets nanoed and stays alive. Safe Haven goes down late in the fight. Turret goes down as well as the Moira. They really have no choice but to get on point, and Zebla trying their hardest, and Avernal coming back in the Wrecking Ball, doing as much as they can to stay alive, but it's not going to be enough, and the St. Louis Submissives go up in this series 2-0 in a convincing win.
The Boys and Men really put a stop to the bleeding during the second point, and on the third point, able to establish high ground, but ultimately with 6 ultimates on the side of St. Louis Submissives for that final push, it was a really uphill battle for the boys to win.
And you were right. They did switch over to the Junkrat. I thought it was an Echo alt, but it looks like it was a real true switch over to the Junkrat. And that's again, like I was saying, like when the other team has a Junkrat, maybe that's what you need, right? Maybe you need the Junkrat to respond to to mirror it, right? It's such an
Yeah.
outside of the box strategy to run the counter Junkrat there that it ended up paying dividends. And I do wonder, while it wasn't the echo ability, right, the duplicate ability, um, I do wonder if Kenny saw the Junkrat on the other side and said, you know what, I'm gonna run that right now too. I'm gonna put in some heavy damage here. Well, it's not an echo ability, it's an echo mirror, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Definitely inspired by the enemy team there, but yeah, at the final point when everyone's like just grouped up onto point, eh, uh, the Junkrat nades are just gonna find massive value. I'm curious to see um, how fast he was able to farm that tire. I didn't catch at what point he switched to Junkrat, but it was paid humongous dividends.
I mean, a truly tremendous tire. I mean, and again, I cannot stress enough that Graviton Surge put them all in one spot, and then they were able to work down the Rhine shield enough where the Rhine couldn't, turn and shield the team from the tire. I mean, that's some really great teamwork there coming out from the St. Louis Submissives, and really in a pressure moment as well, where that was fight or flight at that point. That was make or break. If they weren't able to win that fight, we're seeing overtime maybe right now from Boys to Men, and they run some other comp, and maybe they win the game. But the heroics coming out from Candy there, getting that big tire, and the wherewithal and the knowledge to be able to just really burn down that Rhine shield and get that big grab there. I mean, really great stuff coming from the St. Louis Submissives.
Yeah. What adjustments do you think Boys to Men will have to make in this next time around? Like, what hero swaps or anything or strategy differences would you like to see for them to counter what the submissives have been playing so far?
It's interesting because I think the side of St. Louis Submissives, I mean, they're running some pretty out of the ordinary stuff. The Junkrat, the Echo, sometimes they're an Ash, sometimes they're in Soldier. They are willing to swap over to Tracer, heroes that work for the situation. So I think that's really good. And that's going to be hard for Boys to Men to try to answer with. What I'd like to see from Boys to Men is maybe a little bit more dive style or high ground contest or something like a flank, right? What I want to see is crossfires being set up where St. Louis Submissives end up having to split themselves to deal with multiple threats from different angles. And
Mhm.
because of that, they're able to pick off individual pieces as they become exposed, right?
Yeah.
So if you notice the other team's running a Reinhardt, let's get a Farah, Mercy, right? Maybe the other team's only running one hit scan. A Farah Mercy is going to be still pretty difficult for one hit scan to deal with. And then you just pump damage from above, and then you run at the team. You have your tanks engage heavy on their front line, and then they have 2 points of attack they have to try to defend from. That's really difficult. And the same with, maybe Boyz II Men running an Ash. Zebla can run the Soldier again. I mean, it worked. We were seeing that in Ilios a bit. Taking off angles, but being ready to run out and run in and taking really quick angles, getting a pick in the back line and running out. I mean, I want to see a little bit more strategic, intentional, what I might call pick-based play.
Yeah.
And by pick, I mean like getting a pick or like getting the first elim to initiate the fight, so that their team has the 6v5 advantage.
Yeah.
Where I mean, that's how St. Louis Submissives have been playing, and it's been really great to
Yeah,
watch.
one tank combo we haven't seen yet from Boys to Men is Winston Ball. And I think, yeah, especially against like the backline of the submissives, I think that might find like massive value. But a lot of I think what discouraged them from dive like was surprisingly Square Ball's Batiste play. If you notice the hero icons on the submissives, those are actually the main heroes. They're their most played heroes on each side. So weirdly enough, like a lot of these like heroes like they're actually playing off of their main heroes. Like
Right,
Bearcode, who's usually an Ana player, is like playing a lot of Mercy. Squareball,
right.
to this day, I thought he was only a Moira player, but his Batiste and Immortality fields has been like so clutch in several of those fights.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, there has been some graviton surges that were in shatters, frankly, that were completely negated because of how Squareball was using those immortality fields. I mean, really great job. I think, frankly, sometimes Squareball's using them too early in the fight, but I think it's more of a trying to match the aggression of the other team and trying to say, look, I think the other team's going to push into us right now. I'm going to early immort so that they can't push in, or even if they do, we'll have the advantage.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see maybe a little bit more restraint on that. But just like you say, I mean, in some of these Graviton Surge fights or some of these really heavy ultimate fights, Squareball's been really putting some work in with the Baptiste. Now, did Squareball play? I don't remember offhand. Did Squareball play the Zenyatta and Ilios? Was that? Am I remembering that correctly, or was that Bear Code?
That was Squareball. Yes.
I mean, okay, well then, I mean that's some great play as well. I remember several of those, the Transcendence. I mean, both teams had decided to commit quite a few of their ultimates all at the exact same time, and Squareball used his Transcendence and negated pretty much all of the ultimates from the side of Boys to Men, and that was, I mean, some really clutch play in the Zenyatta. So the heals from St. Louis Submissives are really supporting the DPS and the tank line right
Yeah.
now, and I'm impressed. And right now, Mercy is fairly meta, which is why I think we're seeing Bear Code playing a lot of Mercy to pocket the real Rasputin, because these damage boosted dynamites and damage boosted shots can one shot most 200 HP targets. If unless they have some sort of armor, or they're, I think it might do 225 damage or something like that. So I don't think it
Hmm.
can like one shot like a Reaper or like a May or something, but it can certainly one shot a Tracer and most other DPS players. And if you have it on fire and you're hitting, damage boosted Ash shots as well, I mean, you're going to get so much damage in. So maybe the solution from Boys to Men is to run like a Sigma, right, and put a shield into the face of real Rasputin, and try to
Make
get
him
some of these
uncomfortable.
angles cut
Yeah.
off. Right, yeah. Or like you say, the monkey. I don't know much about how the DPS players from Boys to Men can play like dive DPS, like maybe a Genji or a Tracer, or you could even run the Pharah Mercy as well from Boys to Men, and that, while not strictly a dive DPS, can still be effective when a Winston or a Wrecking Ball jumps in, and can put pressure on the targets that they're jumping on.
Yeah.
Um,
We
so let
saw a
me
bit,
ask,
little
let
bit
me
of.
ask,
Yeah. Sorry.
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, all I was gonna ask is, how do you feel like the St. Louis Submissives can keep this aggression up, and keep sort of not get too cocky, and make sure that they're gonna win this fight, win the game, without putting themselves in bad positions.
I think so far one of the massive advantages for the submissives is the flexibility of all their players. We've seen so many different hero swaps on like both maps so far, and I think and they've been able to like transition into different playstyles very very smoothly. And not only does that keep their like momentum up, it keeps all the boys to men's like rhythm off. They've had a very difficult time like adjusting to the different compositions of the St. Louis Submissives. And now, just as I'm saying that, like Real Rasputin is already showing the Bastion on blue side there. I don't know
Oh,
who's attacking
please.
first at the moment. It seems like,
I believe Boys to Men will be attacking. I think they're red, so
yeah.
I think that usually means they're the attacking team. But man, would I love to see the Bastion come out here, and that would just be so fun right now.
Oh no, instead we get the Hanzo. Hanzo May.
Uh, Hanzo's going to be really interesting to see how they use this, the Sonic arrows, and how they must be trying to look for Grav Dragon combos here, and this is going to be interesting to see how they do this, and we're seeing the May pick as well, which means I think they're going to be trying to wall people off and charging into them. The thing that they don't realize, though, and how could they, is that they have the Winston on the other side from Boys to Men, where they're going to be trying this Winston Zarya comp that I don't think we've seen them run yet. So Winston traditionally not very meta on King's Row, but is surprisingly strong right now in King's Row.
Yeah.
So we'll see the Junkrat
Yeah.
coming out from Dr. Veilsbat as well.
Yeah, Avenel's now playing main tank, while P Symbol has switched to off tank, so we're gonna see a little bit of switch up from the tank line of Boys to Men and see how effective this will be.
Yep. And Kenny looking for the early wall off, and P Symbol finds a really, really early bubble to stop the Rhine charge. Oh, but just as I say that, Square Ball helps helps kill that Zarya, and this is going to be
Yeah.
a really tough fight to win. And Rear Rasputin finds Zebla in the backline. It's a sniper battle that the Dragon brother has won.
Yeah, P Symbol unfortunately got caught on the wrong side of the wall there. He did his best to stimmy the charge, but unfortunately it was just too much damage in the end.
And then they were able to clean up on that. Now, it's going to be really tough to push in. You really can't push this comp without the Zarya. You have to wait for the Zarya to come back, which is why you saw them wait. Now they're looking to come in right now. I'm curious to see who Vernal is going to be jumping on. The wall coming up, but no one on the side of BOIS Demand able to capitalize on. We see the Symmetra switch coming over from Zebla. Really fascinating pick. Teleporting around. This is going to give the Winston a lot better of a position to jump on their back line. Now we see Scarecrow's shield going down really early and the dive initiated here. Mei found caught out here, but the bubble used to save the Mei's life coming from Canny. And now looking like they have over a tick and looking like 2 ticks coming up, but just as I say that, the window is committed here from Squareball. Really early window that we have no choice but to respect. Vernal finds Real Rasputin in the backline with a nice dive, but Scarecrow counters back with Dr. Feelbad killing the Junkrat. Kenny finds Ella's Rising. This is going to be, I think, a one fight for the St. Louis Submissives. Really disastrous when it looks so good with that secret sneaky pick right there from the Symmetra, but they have to jump out when most of their team goes down. What do you think about that?
Definitely, we do see some improvements with the Avernal Monkey, getting a lot of picks and creating a lot of space for the BOIS Men, but unfortunately, there didn't seem to be enough damage follow-up in the space with the short-range DPS of the BOIS Men.
Oh, and the tire's going to be committed as well as the and then the really nice Kenny used Ice Block to stop the tire. That's really, really nice. Vernal,
that's a massive shatter.
One with a massive 3-man shatter. Oh, and Scarecrow finds 2. Oh man, the charge did not kill the Symmetra. Symmetra's going to find another pick here, and actually this fight going the way of the BOIS Men. However, Blizzard committed really late in the fight, and maybe a waste at this point, unfortunately. Oh, but they decide to grab. Only 2 targets left, and they grab that. I think that's a little bit of an overcommit. Yes.
And finally, the Symmetra finds massive value. And I think a lot of that is due to the chaos that Avernal caused. Symmetra went by a little bit unnoticed, managed to build up her beams, and managed to burn down a lot of the Submissives. So, like we said earlier, like this, the switch up from Avernal and P Symbol has been really paying up massive dividends.
Yeah, it didn't look great at first, but when they found their groove and they found their rhythm, it's been pretty effective so far. Junkrat trying to take a cheeky flank on the side there, but deciding to back off when they realized that, you know, half the other team was there. And now we're seeing just kind of poke coming out from both sides, and hopefully Candy's, I think, looking for a freeze target. They have to drop the bubble early. This is tough. Where the Dragon splits the back line here, and now Junkrat can't push in anymore on the side of Dr. Feelbad, but no one found in that. I think that they should have maybe saved that for the Graviton Surge, but Candy finds Avernal really early. Zebla responds back with the killing Candy, but Scarecrow finds a really nice fire strike onto Zebla.
Yeah. Zebla had a few cheeky turrets set up in the bookshot there that Candy didn't realize until he was like on the other side of the payload.
Oh, and that's really unfortunate for them too. But the BOIS Men trying to back off here right now. Looking like Winston from Avernal is trying to take this sort of back flank here. I wonder if he's not worried about, well, she is not worried about the Hanzo, but P Symbol find Real Rasputin in the out of position, and the immortality goes down right now really early. It looked like Scarecrow's shield is going down. They decide to commit multiple ults right now from both sides. Looking like Nano's going to be coming out. Tyre isn't going to find anyone with the Reinhardt being nanoed, and it's looking like St. Louis Submissive might be able to sustain from this, despite the, I think, 3 or 4 ultimates used on the board. Oh, and we find a 5-man shatter from... Oh, and that's such a big Scarecrow with the absolutely massive shatter, and they're able to clean up that fight. Oh my goodness, you love to see a good shatter.
Yeah, I think for a second point here, Submissives Reinhardt is just doing a massive value, getting massive value against the BOIS Men lack of a shield tank at the moment. Avernal, they might need to consider switching to Reinhardt or Sigma to combat this narrow corridor, narrow alleyway.
You know,
insightful as
I
well.
agree with you. The Reinhardt is so good at Brawl here. I would love to see them switch at this point, and it's looking like some ultra command. The dive is being initiated into the backline by Vernal, but decides to back out when she doesn't see what she's looking for quite yet. Now we're seeing a poke battle right now with the Grav Dragon's going to be coming online right now. Ooh, right there. Scarecrow takes a really early charge here, trying to get the Maywall kill, but doesn't find anything. The Graviton Surge coming out from both sides. Oh, and it's disastrous. They both use their ults, but St. Louis Submissive all go down to that. That's a
Yeah.
really, really tough fight, especially for committing the Graviton Surge.
Nice. Zebla didn't, and Boys were able to make out with still 2 of their ultimates left, and this should be an easy capture for a point 2 for the Boys and Men.
And they desperately needed it. There's only 30 seconds left on the clock. We see the switch from Rear Rasputin off of the Hanzo onto the Ashe now. We're going to see some off angles. This, I think, has been his comfort pick so far. Ooh, Avernal burning over there at the top high ground. And we'll see if Avernal can get healed. Has no choke to the jump out, but they don't realize the Dr. Feelbad and the Junkrat is up behind them. He's going to be using Tire, and he finds the Ana in the back line. We see the Blizzard committed by Canny in the front line here. Oh, and just like that, St. Louis Submissive respond with 2 picks. Now, Avernal in the back line trying to find the Ashe, but is able to get out. Jackson finds a late kill on Dr. Feelbad, and Avernal is going to have a tough time here with all the CC now that they have with the Ashe pushing out and the Ana sleep and, the Rhine charges in the May. I mean, this is a really tough comp for Winston to play into. He's able to get out with her life, but
She's probably
I don't know what value.
Avenel's probably going to stay on Winston until she uses her primal, but with a minute left, she needs to find some massive boops here and get some massive value before. Oof.
Ooh, Scarecrow fighting too with the amplified fire strike. Dr. Feelbad and Zebla feeling bad right now. That was really tough. Avernal's taking this cheeky spot right here. It doesn't look like they've spotted Avernal out just quite yet, and I think what she's trying to do is get into a position to re-engage this fight. I think she should probably back out, and she does. She takes a safer position. But both the others on top, and they don't really have much that can deal with that high ground contest right there with Rear Rasputin. I mean, that's free range. And another Dynamite coming through, hitting 2 in the back line. Avernal using the ult, immediately going down.
Yeah.
That's disastrous.
That was great focus
The Shatter.
from the
Finding
Submissives.
the Mercy. Oh, and then the Nano coming out. And finding the Reinhardt in that, where Dr. Feelbad responds back with the kill there, where Zebla finding Canny as well. This is really aggressive now. Avernal coming out into the Wrecking Ball, and now, I mean, Boys to Men are really pushing their aggression.
Square ball with
Canny can
another
find some
clutch.
heroics.
Yeah. With another clutch ammo field now as we enter last fight territory. Dr. Feelbad's that's really trying to break down Scarecrow's shield. And ultimates are being
Mob comes
committed
out
now.
from the side of Rear Rasputin. Blizzard is on the board. Oh, and it finds multiple members of Boys to Men. This is a really tough fight. They have to get on point right now. And it's looking like they're able to get on point with the Wrecking Ball, but at what cost? Real Rasputin finding another kill with the Moira. This man is unstoppable right now. Scarecrow finding the kill on Zyra, P-Simple finding Square Ball, but it's looking like all cleanup for St. Louis Submissives, and it's just the ball that they're dealing with, and that's going to be point 2, not turned into point 3. That was, looking very good. I think, looking very good for a minute for Boys to Men, but they are not able to capitalize with the advantages that they had. The spawns were just too close.
Yeah, I really got to shout out Squareball. Those ammo fields this game and the healing output from him has just been, so clutch. Stopped the tire from Dr. Feelbad several times. I feel like I would even venture to say that the Boys to Men might need to run Ana to counteract the healing output for Squareball, because he's just finding so much value right now, pretty much uncontested every fight, and that's due to just like the front line doing such a good job of creating space for the Submissives at the moment.
And and I'll say that the windows have been very good too. I mean, they have some good synergy with the window fire strike combo, as well as it was a really smart on point 1. There was a window that was put on point where Boys to Men were having a lot of trouble pushing in, because there was a window on point in a position where the team was able to push through or shoot through it. So I think the window uses has been really, really good too. So I'm very impressed by Squareball right now. I think it's Squareball is among my candidates for player of the match right now, as it stands.
Yeah. Here we see P-Simple switching to the Sigma.
Ooh, this is going to be
Winston.
interesting.
on
The
defense.
Sigma Winston on defense. This is going to be really interesting. I'm curious how they utilize this. Maybe they're doing, what we suggested, trying to cut off the Ashe flanks, right?
Yeah.
But it's looking like a Rein Zarya, traditional Rein Zarya comp coming out here, and with the Echo from Canny, where Avernal has to jump out pretty early on and use most of the abilities to get there. Looking for the backline pick and probably going to jump out now. Now, both teams are just poking.
Yeah.
Canny trying to find an angle here and deal with
Submissives
this.
pretty much
Reinhardt
get the
looking for-
statue for free, and as they're
Yeah,
coming out, yeah.
they roll around statue pretty much uncontested, and real Bearcode gets in the backline there pretty well. I think they need to deal with that. Zevla needs to be putting some pressure onto the Ana, the Bearcode in the backline. Just as I say that, the tanks push in and are able to push the rest of the team back. Oh, a Jackson goes down to the May wall. Real Rasputin finds a Vernal. It's a traded game, and then Kenny finds one onto the Mercy. This is going to be maybe a one fight. Oh, and then the Window's committed really early as well as the Nanobus.
Yeah.
This both support ultimates, and the Scarecrow creating so much space right now with those. Oh, finding the May, the long charge kill. Very impressive job. Now they committed a lot of ults, so if I were Boyz II Men, I would feel a little defeated about that. They have over 5 minutes on the board coming into that, and I would feel good that I have a lot of ults, but that's a lot of time.
Yeah. The Bearcode and Real Rasputin got onto the high ground because that statue was like uncontested, and then Bearcode just sat in the back line just healing up the rest of the team.
Oh. And Scarecrow in the front line commits a really early shatter, does not find anybody with it, where the Echo ult onto the Winston doesn't find anything either, where they're going to have to back out. Avernal using... Oh, Avernal finding the Primal Rage kill onto Real Rasputin. That's going to be really big, and P-Symbol finding Canny, and now the tank line crumbles from the side of St. Louis Submissives. This is going to be a one fight. Oh, however, they decide to still commit the Bob to this fight as well. I frankly think that's an overcommit from the side of... Boyz II Men. I don't know that they needed the Bob there.
Yeah. For Boyz II Men, they want to push the advantage, make as much space as possible, going straight to the third point and trying to stall them there, fighting 5v6 in that fight. And I would say, despite them losing the fight, they actually won because they forced the Boyz II Men to commit several ults.
Yeah, more ultimates than I think they probably should have given up. But now we see the Grav Dragon going to be available, and we're going to see how they use this. Ooh, a Jackson! That May wall has been deadly. Canny finds one in the back line, but a Jackson goes down. They don't have their primary combo. They find a Vernal, but they respond back with the kill. Dr. Fieldbot onto Square Ball, and this is going to be, I think, probably a reset on the side of St. Louis Submissives. I wouldn't push this aggression. However, they're deciding to push in anyway. Despite the barrier going down, the Maywall coming out, Candy's going in the back line, and I think going to be punished for it. Oh, but they decide to commit the Blizzard and also the Echo ultimate onto this. This is a messy stagger fight. P-Symbol finds the Bearcode, and also Dr. Feelbad is fighting Real Rasputin. The Echo wall doesn't get very much done, and this is a really, really long reset now coming out from St. Louis Submissives, where they should have reset much, much sooner.
Yeah. That's a very early ammo field from Squareball, just to make sure that they reset. But they do have Grav Dragon coming up, so we're probably going to see that coming up in the next fight.
Vernal takes his position on the top here looking for something. The tanks are going to be jumping in. Oh, and they commit the window, and then the Fire Strike combo through it again. Real Rasputin finds Zebla as well. This is, again, that combo that we said was so deadly with the window Fire Strike on the side of St. Louis Submissives. It's such a good answer for that aggression that they want to be. It's such a tempering aggression that St. Louis Submissives are using right now. Very impressive stuff, and they're pushing their aggression as much as they can at this point. I mean, this is exactly what you want to be doing, though, pushing in. However, the May punishes that aggression for a Jackson, and they might be able to get the recontest in this fight. Avernal is going to jump in and find that where the Shatter has been committed and finds no one. The Shatter it misses, where the Gravitic Flux finds the Bearcode in the back line. Bob is committed from the side of the Boyz II Men, but again, maybe it's a wasted Bob. The fight was nearly over. Avernal gets rezzed, and there's 2 minutes on the board still.
Yeah, Avernal now nearing Primal Rage, and Ajaxon still is holding on to the Grav, so we still haven't seen the Grav Dragon combo come out from St. Louis Submissives yet. But Canny's nearing his ultimate. We're gonna be. Who do you think Canny's gonna duplicate?
If I were Kenny, I would probably try to duplicate the Sigma, try to put some really good frontline pressure on them, and try to help our tanks. What's better than one shield is two shields.
Yeah.
But Reinhardt gets trapped early on, is able to be saved by the Zarya bubbles. Both Zarya bubbles committed. I want to see this Graviton Surge used pretty soon, but we haven't seen it in a while. They decided to copy the Winston to maybe get some really good pressure on their healers and some of the press. Oh, and Scarecrow finds the pin onto P Symbol, but isn't able to get the kill because of the Valkyrie pick. Canny uses the Echoed Primal Rage to try to get some damage done. Rear Rasputin finding Ellis Rising, but the Blizzard being committed from the side of Boys to Men. But it might not work out. However, as I say that, they respond with 2 kills onto Squareball and Scarecrow, and this is going to be
Poor
another
Scarecrow.
reset.
Scarecrow was
I
probably
know.
frozen for like 10 seconds straight. First the
Oh, the
freeze from May, and
chain
then yeah.
PC. This is looking now pretty bad for the side of St. Louis Submissives. However, they do have the Graviton Surge and Dragons combo up,
Yeah.
but they haven't been able to execute it much. I mean, there's only 40 seconds left on the board, and they have to be using these ults effectively. Where I'd be surprised if they didn't flux early to try to force, to try to temper some of that aggression. The Maywell coming out, trying to find several of the members of the St. Louis Submissives in the back line, but not finding anybody. The Winston bubble going down. Finally, the Grav. Oh, it is eaten! The Dragons
Wow.
is eaten from the side of P Symbol. It was such a clutch textbook eat. Real Rasputin finds a Vernal, and the Immortality goes down, but it's looking like St. Louis Submissives are finding what they need to win this fight, and I think they're going to cap point 2.
That's a great shatter from Scarecrow to secure the point. And with 90 seconds remaining, we're going to see if they're going to be able to push into the final point.
And
But
now the ultimate advantage, though. With what else they have, who do you think has the advantage now?
definitely Boys to Men at the moment. That grab can easily just lift them up off of point when the timer runs out. I would say we're going to need to see some canny heroics again to see if he can like clutch us out for his team.
I agree. I think maybe Candy copies the Winston and gets into the back line. However, they're dropping the window here, and the Immortality saves them from Vidic Flux. That's such an important pick right there. Another Fire Strike comes through, doesn't find anybody. They decide to copy the Winston in the back line. Real Rasputin finds a Vernal really early on, and this is a 6v5 now, and Bob is committed from the side of Boys to Men, and is it going to find anybody? I don't think so. A Jackson is frozen and then killed by the Bob and Point, and Candy
Great
responds to
Blizzard,
killing
yeah.
Symbol. The Blizzard tempers all aggression. Real Rasputin finding another pick, but the St. Louis Submissives are really going to have to reset here. 30 seconds on the board.
Yeah, that was a great Blizzard from Dr. Feelbad there, but now they're going to be really wishing they have that for the final fight here. A Jackson now has 50% to grab. I don't think he'll be able to farm it in time for the final grab dragon, but Scarecrow might be able to shatter to secure the dragon kill.
Really important clutch fight coming up right here. We have a Vernal in the backline. We see the Dragon coming through. The Immortality is really committed early here. Ryan, with the Scarecrow looking for some early picks. A Vernal is using the Primal Rage in the backline, trying to find anything that they can. Zebla responds back with the kill on the Canny. That's such an important kill. Now they go for the Sigma ult on point. Oh, and it finds one! This is looking so good for the side of Boys to Men. This is looking like exactly what they need. Finally, Scarecrow. Oh, he's finding. Oh man, just one with that shatter. But this is a whole new look from Boys to Men.
Yeah, that was a tough fight at the end, and they fought tooth and nail to defend it on the last point. And I gotta say, great flexibility again from Boys to Men to be able to identify their weaknesses and adjust accordingly. I would say that Grav, that last second Gravitic Flux from P Symbol, at first it looked like he didn't get anybody, but I think he was just making sure to target the Ana to make sure that realizing that the Ana was like pumping out a lot of healing after Square Ball's cooldowns were already used earlier on in the fight. And once he removed the Ana from the fight and she wasn't able to sleep Sigma, that was a one fight for the Boys to Men.
Yeah, really, really great stuff. And I think it was not working out well on the first couple points, but with the spawns coming in, I think the Winston from over was really starting to affect their backline. I think St. Louis Submissives in the last fight there just were so focused on trying to get to the cart that they left their backline completely exposed. Vernal found a Primal Rage in the back, was able to displace, let P Symbol get their Gravitic Flux online and get a really big couple kills with that. I mean, that is really good to defend there, right? Really good defense, not letting them to cap all 3 points, but Boys to Men finding exactly what they need to finish that map out.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, credit to Safe Haven too. Like, there's a lot of those like fights, like in midst like, of all the chaos, um, with all the chaos that's been going on in the like team fights. It was a really scrappy fight, but ultimately, whether it's like Safe Haven's healing or Squareball's early commit of the immortality field, I think was like the deciding factor of like a lot of those fights. I think for the most part, the story for King's Row was the battle of supports during that, especially on the last point.
Yeah, especially on the last point. I mean, I think, for all the great things we've said about Squareball so far, I think there was a really early immortality committed, and I think it was less of a reactionary one and a proactive immortality field. And I don't know if it paid off in the end. I am I feel bad that we're hyping him up, and then saying, look, well, that one wasn't good,
Yeah.
but it's part of the game. Sometimes you use the ability too soon, and sometimes you don't use it soon enough.
I
But
think that
I mean,
that goes
really
to
good
credit
stuff.
for I guess whoever the shot caller for Boys to Men is too. Because I think they started to figure out um, the submissives pattern a bit. So like during this game, um, the once the immortality field gets like committed like a little bit early, you see like Boys to Men back off just a little bit. Like they pull back just a little bit, wait for it to finish off before overcommit. Because in the past few maps, the square ball expected them to like fully commit, probably just based on the scrims that they played before, in their aggression, and usually that's a loss. Like Boyce to Men was fighting within the immortality field inside the brawl comp, but with the tank switch for Avernal, able to just like jump out and like disengage from the fight, wait for the immortality field to disappear or get destroyed, and then re-engage after Square Ball uses all his cooldowns. That proved to be a much better engagement for Boys to Men.
Yeah, I agree, and I think Kenny as well was having trouble on the third point with Echo. I mean, it looked like they really had the flanks on lockdown. I mean, Kenny was trying to get into the back line, and every now and then would find a pick, but at the risk of two of his own team members coming in, I think he was starting to struggle a little bit. And maybe I would have liked to see maybe even a Junkrat come out, right, something outside of the box, or just the tracer pick, and getting into the back line and harassing, giving your tanks some space to move in.
Yeah,
I mean, it feels like a refreshed, look from Boys to Men. And I think if you win one map, why can't you win more maps?
yeah,
Why can't you win everything? And I think this is going to be a nice mental reset for them. And I'm curious to see what map they choose next.
yeah. Uh, because like in this tournament, like the losers gets to choose maps, and there's no like limit on like really what maps uh to choose or what maps. There's a few map bans, but even though 2CP is part of the map pool, I highly doubt that any team in this tournament would want to go like 2CP. But as a
Yeah, I
caster,
probably agree.
I would like to see like 2CP for me is like pretty fun to cast. Seeing like how both teams try to play the mental chess of trying to break the stalemate on like chokeholds, and like seeing which team's willpower is able to like overcome the others.
Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting to see maybe Anubis or Hanamura, right? I mean, I think Hanamura, right, gives a little bit more, lends itself a little bit better to a brawl comp because everything is on the same level. You sort of push into each other. Where Anubis, you might see more of a dive or like a range comp, because there's a high ground there and you have to like take flanks and stuff. So I'd be curious to see both the maps, but I also, if I'm in their shoes right now, I'd maybe want to pick something that you know, I wouldn't want to do a comfort pick, right? So I want St. Louis submissives. I've heard that they're good at Rialto. I think they're probably going to want to play Rialto right now and just try to win that.
Yeah. I think Rialto is not in the map pool, mainly
Oh,
because like
okay.
uh, the tournament organizer might have gotten like PTSD from that map. But
Okay.
I would love, but yeah, I would love to see a Rialto map if it was in the pool. But who knows? Like they might decide to play Rialto, or maybe Rialto might be in the map pool uh, randomly. But yeah. Definitely. Like. I don't think Junkertown has been picked yet, so I'd imagine like either another control map, maybe Lijiang Tower, or a payload map like
That's what I would
Junkertown.
say as well. I would like to see a map that maybe you wouldn't want to tie, right? Like if I'm Boys to Men, I'm getting maybe a little fatigued right now, and even the St. Louis Submissives, I think both teams are, feeling the effects of this is, they're going into their fourth game in a row, where at this point, I want to play a game that maybe is going to be a little quicker, or like maybe you can't tie on, right?
Hmm.
So not a hybrid map. You're going to want to play probably a control map, Lijiang, or maybe Nepal. Is Nepal? I think Nepal's in the map pool. Or Busan, right? I think
Yeah.
Busan would be really interesting to see,
Oh yeah,
because
Busan. I forgot that Busan was the first control map played last time. I forgot this was already like week two.
yeah,
I thought
right.
I saw because like when the stream first started, I saw like Busan was like showing. I forgot that Ilios was gonna be the first map. So yeah, I didn't like. I would like to see Busan too.
Should we just tell them in the chat? Should we type in, "Hey guys, play Busan"? Because I think in Busan we'll see a lot more of the battle of the DPS, right? And
Hmm.
seeing how tanks can initiate, and because there's a lot of high ground and some points and some really nice off angles, so we'll get to see a nice DPS matchup. I think that'll be fun. So going back to that Kings Row game just for a second. I mean, how did you feel about that Echo pick coming out of the side of St. Louis Submissives? I mean, in the whole of it, not just on the third point, but is that something that you were expecting to see? Is that something that you think could have been utilized differently?
I think seeing like Canny's icon, I think Echo in this current state of the game is probably going to be his comfort pick. Like especially if like he's unsure of like what to go. He started off on May, and there was definitely like a May brawl, but I think um, the Echo was probably just what he ends up like defaulting to.
Mm,
Um, Although he did find like consistent value in like damage, unfortunately, I don't think he was able to build up his duplicate as fast as he did in his other past two games. So the duplicated, he wasn't the duplicate not coming out as fast as it did in the past two games might have ended up hurting him a little bit.
sure. Looking like we're going over to Watchpoint Gibraltar, so I'm thinking Boys to Men maybe wants to run this dive comp again. They're really trusting Vernal on the Winston there, and trying to make some space. So I think maybe we'll see the Zarya Winston with P symbol coming out in the Zarya again, and we're going to see how St. Louis Submissives, because they'll be on defense first. We're going to see how they respond.
Yeah. There's also potential that Avenel might go back to ball, but and Canny might switch off of Echo to go Sombra to hack the ball. But yeah, for me, I would like to see maybe that Winston Zarya or Ball Zarya coming out from the side of like Boys to Men. But there's also potential for a Widowmaker duel too between Real Rasputin and Dr. Feelbad coming up on Watchmen Gibraltar.
Oh, and I'd love to see that.
Yeah,
That would be a lot of fun because we know how great Rue Rasputin is right now in the Ash, right?
yeah,
So I'd love to see the Widowmaker play, see how they can really respond. So um, this is going to be really great.
yeah. Ball is saying, "Hold on to my Xbox controller batteries." Man, imagine playing. I've never played Overwatch on console before.
Oh, really? I started on console. I was an Xbox
Really? Dang.
player.
Oh
Yeah, I
crap.
was Xbox for a bit, and then I switched over to PC. It's interesting. I think PC is just a better experience because there are more players, and it's definitely like people take it more seriously on
Yeah.
PC, I'd say, but there's something really nice about just sitting back on your couch and just like holding a controller in your hand and playing a video game you like. I actually got Overwatch for the Switch when it came out.
Oh,
Not
nice.
to toot my own horn, but I was the number one Reinhardt on Switch for a while. I was the number 4 ranked tank on Switch for a bit.
Wow. Is there
Mostly
comp and
Reinhardt.
Switch on the Switch?
Yeah, yeah, there is. It's a smaller community, but definitely one that's there. Games might take a little bit longer because the game, was released several years after the other console ones were, and after the actual launch of the game. So, it's a smaller community, but it's you get to know people really well. I'd get into games and I'd be like, oh, this person is gonna play Junkrat, this person is gonna play Pharah. Like that's just what they're gonna be, and you just kind of get used to what everyone's gonna play at a certain point. Where it's a different experience in PC because frankly, you could play 55 games in a row and never have the same person on your team.
Yeah. Who is the most difficult hero to play on the Switch for you?
It's a good question because I am mostly a tank player. So Wrecking Ball is oppressive
Yeah.
for like lower ranked players. It's to play against,
Yeah.
but I never found on Switch my groove with Wrecking Ball.
Mm.
But I really like playing Reinhardt and Winston on Switch. So yeah, I think in general Widow is probably the hardest one to play on any kind of console, right?
Yeah.
Because it's so aim intensive and
Is there aim assist on console?
there is. Yep, aim assist is on console, but it's less helpful than you think. It often you'll be like on Widow, let's say, and you'll be
Hmm.
like trying to find a healer, but if someone else runs in front of your scope, it'll pull your scope
Oh
off of
no.
the healer. Yeah, so it can actually be like it can hinder you quite a bit more than it actually helps you.
Okay.
Um, yeah, it tries to, but sometimes you got to tune it down. And Switch brings in the quirk of the Joy Cons. You can sort of move around your character using moving the Switch around, which is kind of cool, but it doesn't lend itself well to being able to aim.
Yeah.
So,
How do you how do you use your alt and on the Switch? Is it which buttons do you press?
so it's going to be the X button on the Xbox controller. It's the Y button, but
Hmm.
it's just the top button
Yeah.
usually, and you can map it to whatever you want. But all everything's mapped very well, and the Xbox controller fits in your hand very nicely, so it feels good to play the game. It going from Xbox to PC, you're like it's actually really tough because the mouse and keyboard, you're just like kind of not used to the mouse and keyboard.
Yeah.
But then once you get used to it, the mouse and keyboard's way better. That said, of all the controllers there are for consoles, the Xbox One is certainly the best that fits into your hand, and like certainly I feel the most ergonomic. So going back and playing on the Xbox from time to time, just it feels like I'm just picking it back up.
How's the flying here? How's flying? I'd imagine like flying might be a
Mm.
better experience on the controller, like Pharah or Diva.
Yeah, they're fine. I wouldn't say they're better than the PC. I would say Farah is among the most oppressive heroes on console because she's flying and it's very hard for players to hit airborne targets.
Hmm.
So Farah Mercy can downright dominate games on Xbox. And
Yeah.
actually, I believe the first person to hit 5,000 SR in all of Overwatch was a PS4 player named Fenkta, who played Farah in a six stack team back when you could do that. Um, so that's a little fun fact for you for the day.
Nice.
He's a PS4 player.
Wow. And it's not cross-platform, right? Like you would never see
It
like a
is
PC
not
player.
cross-platform. That's right. Yeah, you can use a mouse and keyboard on Xbox, but it's widely regarded as cheating. But yeah, that's all intertwined, and I think Blizzard at some point will explore the idea of cross-platform functionality. I think it's a bit of an effort, but I think it'll pay off really well.
Yeah.
So I
Imagine
think just like we
Overwatch,
said,
yeah,
imagine Overwatch with console players and
or
PC players in the same
VR,
game.
VR Overwatch, like
Well,
going to
that
the.
would be so fun. I mean, it's interesting. So Gator, who's on the Atlanta
Oh
Reign, the main
yeah.
tank today, he's actually an Xbox player among the founding members of Goats,
Oh
the
yeah.
team that created the Goats composition. Most of the people on Goats were Xbox players, so
Wow.
really cool to see a handful of them get some success out of it. So
Yeah.
anyway, watch for Gibraltar here. Looks like just like we said, Avernal's going to be over on the Winston, and Zebla's going to be playing the Sombra here, looking for some hacks in the backline probably. Poke battle right now. Kenny going over, just like you said, to the comfort pick onto the Echo. And Avernal looking at the underneath, opting out of taking the bridge right here. Ooh, doing a really early dive. Trying to find what they can with Zebla in the backline. Immortality gets committed to save
Yeah.
Scarecrow, but
That's a
we'll see if
great
that's
purple
going
on
to
Safe
help.
Haven. But yes,
Really
great
great purple.
immortality field. but that was just enough to zone them off the point, as they're gonna get some free payload percentage underneath the bridge.
And really, really smart jumps right now from Avernal, actually jumping where the Zarya from P Symbol is, just to make sure that damage is going to be there the whole time. Now the sleep comes out and the immortality is used to keep on Jackson, but you know, they've given up so much space right now, and unless someone touches, they're going to take point one.
Yeah. That was great aggression from P Symbol over there. So basically maintaining 70% charge this entire time, and basically just zoning out Batiste, Square Ball, and the Bear Code so that they wouldn't be able to get free heals on their teammate.
Now we're seeing the poke battle coming up top onto the side from both Winston. Scarecrow gets hacked and has to opt out. Canny coming back with the cavalry, but you know, they're not going to be finding much, and all the while the cart's been moving down below. Ooh, the Junkrat tire coming up from Dr. Feelbad to try to create this opportunity for the fight to engage, and runs it right at them basically. Doesn't really know who the target is, but finds the immortality. Really nice immortality field there, and knew that the tire couldn't help. Zebla finds Canny in the backline, and P Symbol finds Square Ball, so the immortality usage there actually may have turned to bite them, and for that they had a half of a fight basically, and they're going to take point two.
So smooth from the boys to men over there. The tire worried me a little bit. It looked like it was having trouble trying to get into the high ground, but it manages to bait out the immortality field, and once the immortality field was down, boys to men just rolled on through. I don't think the payload stopped at all during that second push.
I don't think it did. They go into point three with over 6 minutes on the board. That's a staggering time, and they still have 4 ults online. However, the side of St. Louis Submissives here are going to be running also 4 ultimates, but you know, we'll see who decides to use theirs first and open up the fight, where Scarecrow deciding to take an aggressive push in the front line there. Candy finding a Vernal who jumped into who looks like who just got found out of position, and that's not great, but you know, you can afford to reset right here if you're boys to men, because you still have over 5 minutes on the board. It looks like Zebla is trying to find some space in the background here, looking, you know, maybe for a pick on the Mercy or maybe a pick on the Ashe right here, just some distraction while their team pushes in.
Doing a scout, she's going to the high ground now.
And another tire. Another tire coming out from Dr. Feelsbad. Winston from the side of well, Avernal is being Nano. Doesn't find too much, but Canny takes the Echo onto Winston and gets pretty much immediately taken out of it. The window is committed by Square Ball. Canny finds the Ana, and the Primal Rage can't be pushed in because Avernal's really low.
That's a frontline Junkrat right there, able to get some pickoffs onto Square Ball.
Oh, and the hack comes over into rear Rasputin. The cavalry, thankfully, is there coming off of the Bear Code, but Sombra, getting stuck in the back line, and the Bear Code finds the kill into Zebla. That's going to be really tough. I would just reset here, and that's really nice from St. Louis Submissives to see some of this. Scarecrow finds 2 really late picks here, and this is going to be a really staggered fight.
That's a massive play from Scarecrow. He 1v4'd Primal Raged and stalled the cart all by himself during that fight while all the chaos was happening in the backline over there. But Scarecrow, like, that value from that Primal was massive.
Really, really massive there too, because the cart went nowhere, and they're able to burn almost 2 minutes off the clock on this. Now, you know, the problem is now we're seeing that both teams don't have very many ultimates on the board, but it looks like Boys to Men has this Grav and EMP, so I'm assuming we're going to see that here. And we see the hack coming over to Jackson, going down to half HP, but, you know, getting support from the rest of the team. And it's looking like now the Boys to Men are having trouble trying to figure out how they exactly want to engage this year, especially with the Jackson having his Grav online, and they don't want to be caught out early, but they can use his EMP really early, and which is what they might end up doing, where looking like the Grav is going to be coming out and finding 3, but the immortality is going to temper a lot of that. Meanwhile, Scarecrow finds 1 and Dr. Feelbad. That's a really nice pick. Zebla finds the back kill on Canny, and this is going to be an even fight so far.
Back where he comes out from the Bear Code, keeps people alive in the midst of that immortality field as well. We see Scarecrow and Bob coming out, and that should be a pushback onto the Boys to Men as they reset once more.
And while I normally don't like Bobs at the end of fights here, this actually helped them clean up the fight a little bit, get the late stagger in the Ana, and really temper their push. Now there's less than 3 minutes on the board when they came into this point with over 6 minutes. I mean, this is going very well for the St. Louis Submissives, and they have a lot of ults on the board where, you know, EMP is still online though for Boys to Men.
Yeah, Canny switches over to Tracer, and even despite not getting like confirming kills, he's been doing a lot of backline damage. He tries to go for
Ooh.
Dr. Feelbad, gets the pulse bomb to kill off Dr. Feelbad in the midst of his tire.
And they commit the EMP and also the tire to that fight, but the use of the tire gets completely mitigated, or completely negated, I should say, by the Mercy with the res there. And this is, again, another minute off the clock, only 2 minutes left here. And it's looking like BOIS are struggling to find an answer when it looks so good for them coming into it.
Yeah. Real Rasputin is halfway to Bob once again, despite only using it 2 fights earlier. He's been farming it a lot with his pocket Mercy.
And here, I mean, I'd love to see a Vernal get in there and start using Primal Rage to knock some people around, and maybe the Coalescence used from, Ellis Rising to try to support and get some in the backline. However, just I say that, Jackson finding 2 there, or finding 1 there, I should say, on the Sombra into the Graviton Surge, and Squareball finishes the kill into Zeble, and that's going to be a really big kill. They lose some of their damage with that. The Tracer, though, however, Dr. Feelbad switching over to the Reaper, finding the kill into the Tracer from Kenny, and now it's an even fight. Both DPS have one DPS on each side down. Switching over to the Mei, it looks like from Zebla. Bob being committed from the side of the St. Louis Submissives. Real Rasputin finding the kill in Dr. Feelbad. Really, really nice kill. And this is all coming up St. Louis.
Yes. Even though we don't see Canny much in the kill feed, his switch to Tracer has wreaked havoc in the backline. Canny and Scarecrow has been friends for a really long time, and that Phrenergy combo has been paying like dividends. Both Winston and Tracer, lore synergy, been just doing wonders, and basically the Boys to Men supports have not been finding as much value amidst all the chaos that the dive combo has been wreaking on them.
Now, for everything considered right now, I mean, the ult should go in the way of Boys to Men. They decided to enter the Winston mid-Primal Rage while trying to make some disruption kills. Dr. Feelbad goes down to half, but is able to be healed up. However, the Ana going dangerously low for Safe Haven. Oh, and goes down to Kenny. Kenny finding an absolutely massive pick here, where the Winston now from the side of the St. Louis Submissives is jumping in and out. P-Simple finds Kenny in the back line, and that's going to be really good. The Immortality is used really early, but we're going to see how this works. I mean, P-Simple is going to use her Graviton Surge and finds 2 in the Graviton Surge. Immortality isn't there anymore. The Blizzard comes out from the side of Zeble. And we're going to see, I think, a completely one fight from the side of Boys to Men, where they had 6 minutes coming into this point, ending in overtime.
Yeah, they finally pushed it back into the point. Smart pick from Dr. Feelbad to onto Reaper to temper the aggression of the Winston. But still, like as we saw, like against like Safe Haven's Ana, like she was not able to get as much healing output as possible when like both like a Winston and a Tracer's like diving onto her. But we're gonna see how they respond here. Boys to Men on defense.
Yeah, I mean, they seemed like, I mean, the Winston on third point there is a really tough hero to play because, there's not, like, there is high ground, but it's really in the team when you want to jump on their high ground. And you could try to maybe flank behind them, but there's not really a great way as Winston to try to get, like, really, really far behind them. So you have to hope that, you're able to pull a target forward, or a target gets out of position. You're able to jump slightly behind that target and force basically you are sandwiching the target in between, right? So if, let's say, a Jackson goes in deep to try to get some damage, I would like to see a Vernal jumping behind a Jackson and then followed up by P-Symbol just doing a ton of damage there and killing that target in between them.
But definitely for the first 2 points, really, really great teamwork from Boys to Men. As we see Real Rasputin and the St. Louis Submissives try to mount their attack.
Oh, and here we see the Roadhog coming out from the Scarecrow instead of the Winston. I'm interested to see how this is going to be. This is going to be because we have the Echo as well with the Zarya. I mean, this is the ladder comp at this point, the ranked ladder comp. Vernal going in kind of over bridge there, trying to get some work done, but has to back out, has to really respect that Roadhog, which is going to be really tough for her to push in on.
I'll be honest, I'm surprised we haven't seen more Roadhog, like despite him being like meta.
It's true. I mean, maybe it's that teams just haven't had enough time to practice him yet in like a more real environment. the Maywall coming in huge here. Jackson's going to probably go down here, and as we say that he does, and it looks like the side of the St. Louis Submissive, they're not going to be able to push in here. Roadhog tries to go for the hail. Oh, but Squareball finds the kill into Ellis Rising, the counterpart Moira, where Zarya from a Jackson is rezzed by the Barricode. The Barricode's getting these incredibly large rezzes here. This is really good. Dr. Feelbad goes down mid-fight here, where now the team from Boys to Men has to back off, and Valkyrie was committed. That's disastrous.
Valkyrie was committed, but unfortunately she wasn't close enough to get the healing out at the time. But Kenny almost has a duplicate again, winning the aerial battle against Zeble. Ooh, the final headshot.
Oh, finding the really, really late kills on Zeble and Safe Haven. I would say no ults need to be used here from the side of St. Louis Submissives, and I think they should just give this point up. Yeah, Vernal maybe thinking about going back in there, but you know what? Decides not to at the last second. And Ellis Rising caught in a bad position, and thank God is able to get out, but still barely with a sliver of health. Kenny finds the exit kill in a Vernal, and it's gonna be a tough to re-engage this, I think, from the side of Boys to Men. How do you think that they win this next fight?
Well, they would need to get a really, really early pick onto the supports, but St. Louis Submissives does have the ultimate advantage at this point, so it's going to be an uphill battle for the Boys to Men for sure.
Oh man, that's a really, really late kill into Zeble there. That's going to temper some of the aggression there as well if you don't have your Echo. And the bubble goes down really early, a little bit far away, where now the Blizzard is being committed by Boys to Men on point. It finds Scarecrow, but the bubble saved the Scarecrow's life. Oh, and Rasputin finding a really nice kill with the Bob. Oh, really nice 2 kills. That's a 2K with the Bob so far. Oh, and then finding a third right on the own. Real Rasputin really trying to clutch this fight out.
Yeah, no Ana on Boys to Men means that the Bob is pretty much just going to get free reign. Really only CC is going to be May. Kenny switches to Echo really quickly, blows off the Blizzard, even though he had it, but I guess he wants to switch to Echo for this last point.
I think he echoed there,
right,
and then used the echoed Blizzard there to make sure that they couldn't touch point. A really smart play coming out from Kenny. That it was a little tough to see because it was happening way away from where the fight was, but really smart to make sure they couldn't re-engage.
Here you go,
Avernal is trying to get off the high ground, trying to really push people off here. Squareball finding Avernal really, really early in the fight, and without a main tank, they're not going to be able to push this very well. I mean, the Boys to Men are going to have to use some kind of heroics here. Maybe P-Symbol can find a big grab, and they can do a grab Coalescence.
Yeah.
The switch quick onto Soldier from Zeble.
Yeah, Avernal uses Primal, but she gets grabbed inside. Double grabs coming out.
Oh, dual grabs coming out. Scarecrow answers with the whole hog, finding 2, the Avernal and the P-Symbol here.
And the hook!
Scarecrow, finds the massive hook. Now, Safe Haven's doing everything they can to try to stay on this point and stay alive and keep Ellis Rising alive. They just have to stay alive until the tanks can come back, and we have Avernal coming back on the Wrecking Ball right now, the famous hero. The Hog,
oh my gosh!
The damage is just too much. Zembla immediately dies after using Tac Visor, where now the Echo's coming out to stall, and that's going to be a massive cap, massive time bank, 444 on the board for the side of the St. Louis Submissives.
Very, very thoroughly impressed with Scarecrow's hog play. Once again, like, he's been putting in work during practice. Like, he was originally just a Ryan player. Now it seems like he's developed a lot of like versatility on all these other tanks, and even getting a kill onto P-Symbol, who is known as the Roadhog one trick. But like that must have been a really, really satisfying kill for Scarecrow, and I want to say that might be play of the game so far for this current matchup right now.
I mean, it was a very, very impressive play. I mean, the only other thing I can think right now is just Canny's heroics once again on point 3 for, their defending round, where they went from 6 minutes and pushed them to overtime. And I mean, they came in again, like I said, with 6 minutes coming into point 3, and now look at the time banks. I mean, St. Louis Submissives have, almost 5 minutes on the board to cap, where Boys to Men only has 1 minute left on the board. That's going to be really tough to push with a lot of progress here. I'm impressed by how St. Louis Submissives have really turn this around for themselves and taken what seemed to be an insurmountable
Yeah.
effort and made a real game out of it.
Normally, you wouldn't like most people wouldn't play Tracer on defense, but Kenny played it with such finesse that like he was able to like just once again like clutch it out for his team.
That's right. And now we're seeing Dr. Feelbad on a Junkrat actually too. This is a interesting point for Junkrat because you don't have a lot of things to bounce off of, but Rear Rasputin finding the really early pick onto Ellis Rising. That's going to be really hard to push in now when you don't have your healer. Oh, and then Kenny finds Zebla in the back line. That's really, really bad. That's both to be. Oh, Vernal responds back though with the square ball. Pick, but it's rezzed immediately. A Jackson finds a Vernal. They're just trading kills at this point. P Simple finds
Wow,
the bear
the long
code,
range
but,
grenade kills from Canny. Both supports
Canny.
down. Jeez.
Insane. Finds both support kills with the counterpart of Rear Rasputin. Now they just have to clean up the points. Zebla finds Rear Rasputin, but is it going to be enough to do anything with it? Hog is on P Symbol is just holding this point right now. Scarecrow is yet to kill them. This is a really good hold from P Symbol. Oh, and P Symbol finds the Zarya. This could be disastrous if they're able to push back in.
Yeah.
It's looking hard right now. Scarecrow has to get out. The Immortality is used at this point. Oh, but the window is used. Both hooks used, and the Echo coming out from Kenny. Copying the Roadhog. A Vernal in the back trying to get some work done. However, Rear Rasputin uses the Dynamite and the Bob and finds two. Rear Rasputin with another one. Rear Rasputin, Bob!
Gosh.
With the heroics once again, Rear Rasputin absolutely showing a masterclass in defensive Ashe right there. Really, really great stuff.
Yeah, Canny's like they were pretty much uncontested on the high ground over there, getting a lot of value. Like Canny developed really fast like old charge there, despite being Echo. That just goes to show like how much damage he was outputting during that entire fight. Like usually with this much time bank, and what would be your usual strategy on attack on try to get this as far as possible?
Look, I trust in what we've been playing. Like if I'm with a team and we rolled into point 3 and finished it with, I think it was, they had 344 on the board but got the extra minute because Boys demanded. I'm just gonna stick with what was working. I'm gonna run the Roadhog Zarya once again and try to do it. Now I like this strategy from Boys to Men of this Bastion pick right here. I wonder how they're gonna use this. What I might do if I were Boys to Men is play a really brawl comp and play right up next to the spawn so that even if they push out, they have to commit so many resources to do so, and then we have another fight coming back if we need to. But we're gonna see how they give space up and use space right here. That's an interesting shield placement at first here.
Yeah. Double shield. I'm curious to see how Orisa does on this point here with the nerfs.
Yeah, I mean, me too. They're sitting up in this double shield position. Dr. Feelbad finding Rear Rasputin because they don't have a shield, but look at all this card progress
below.
Dr.
Feelbad fell down.
Dr. Feelbad falls down, but he finds Square Ball in the process. The Immortality is used from Boys to Men right now, and
Dr. Feelbad does fall down, but great job on a tank and supposed to keep him alive. I was a little bit nervous for Dr. Feelbad right there because he was left kind of exposed for a second, but it seems like Boys to Men is able to stabilize for the time being. Oh no, it seems like Lava has left the game for a little bit, so I'll be trying to cast on my own for the next few seconds. Bastion comes out with Configuration Tank, just trying to do bully them off. But Scarecrow is deep inside enemy lines, tries to make out with his life. He does. Immortality Field comes out from Safe Haven, but it gets destroyed. Kenny's a little bit forward right now. Dr. Feelbad gets hooked in. Bear Code with a nice res onto Scarecrow after Zeb takes him out with a Helix Rocket. But it seems like St. Louis Submissives have developed point control and surrounded the point and shoot at them with the crossfires in many different angles. Orisa Bastion right now from the Boys to Men trying to hold on to the point as desperately as possible, but Bob will probably zone them out. Zebla uses Visor to try to clear the point just a little bit. See if she can find any kills, but oh no, the kills come out from St. Louis Submissives. Square Ball getting a double kill, triple kill possibly, and it should be a point taken and game set and match for St. Louis Submissives. GG, well played. Gotta say, Canny with his heroics once again. Real Rasputin does get to play the game at the end, but I will say getting that 6 minute time bank and almost holding it completely was had to be executed like perfectly for the St. Louis Submissives, and they really pulled through. I'm very, very impressed with St. Louis Submissives gameplay this game. GG's. Really showed a lot of diversity from what they're usually played. It seems like Liam's internet went out, but Liam, thank you so much um, for casting this game with me. Learned a lot about the game, learned a lot about casting from this game. So GG's to everyone, and hope to see you guys next time. Apologies for earlier for my internet being like really laggy. I know there's a lot of drop frames, but hopefully it will be fixed next time.